Hi, my name is Namito. I'm a DJ and producer since 1993, and I release my music on labels like Systematic and Selador Recordings. And today I'm going to give you a little introduction to my studio here in Berlin-Kreuzberg. So this is the modular part of the studio. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really understand what's going on here. It belongs to my friends Pascal Hetzel and Sierra Sam. They know exactly what to do with this, but I'm a newbie. I'm really fascinated actually by what's happening here. Every time I come to the studio and the guys are sitting here and getting this weird, amazing sounds, I feel like I have to dig deep into this part of the studio, but it's so complicated, at least for me, that I've been rather working on new projects than experimenting with sounds. But I'm gonna have a look at it. It's absolutely brilliant what you can make with these modules, and every time you change the cables and you turn the knobs, something magical somehow happens. Sometimes it sounds shit, but sometimes it's absolutely fantastic. So I think that now that it's here, I'm gonna take some time in the near future and try to understand this part. Now we come to my favorite synth in this studio, which is the analog keys from Elektron. It is an analog synthesizer, as you can imagine, but it is controlled digitally in a very beautiful way. So you have four sound sources and one effect channel, or two actually. And what I love about it is that you can create amazing sequences with it, very very easily and very different as if you would draw them in Ableton. And the fantastic part is that you can assign all parameters of the machine, and there are many actually, to each step of your sequence. To me, it was like a very difficult at the beginning to understand, but once you put effort into this machine and understand it, it is mind-blowing. Really, a very, very good device, and I can highly recommend it. We have now here next to it the next crazy machine called OB6 from Dave Smith. I personally use it a lot for arpeggios and crisp sounds, and but it can also make very fat basses. You name it. It's a very potent machine, and there's a reason why it's right next to the keyboard of our computer. Here we have the Modular NF1. It's a digital synthesizer that can make all sort of harsh sounds, I would describe them. It's very good. I don't really use it that much because it doesn't somehow correspond with my music. But what I hear when the guys use it on their techno tracks is fantastic. Here we have a TB03. Sammy just bought it. I don't really like the acid sounds, so I don't use it that much. And here is another powerful machine. Something's going on here. This section is dedicated to the drums. So we have the fantastic Tanzper from MFV, hello Uwe, and the analog rhythm from Elektron, which is from controlling very similar to the analog keys, so you can also make your patterns, your drum patterns, and you can assign again every single parameter to each drum sound of the sequence. Very, very powerful again. The Miami always grooves. It's insane. It's just like, you don't need much more. Sometimes I just make tracks and they're somehow not working, the drums, and then I just delete all the drums, start this machine. We are done. Amazing. I love it. The Nord Lead 4R, very good for arpeggios and you know, fine sounds. For it's really good. You can use it. We have here the mixer. It is from Midas. It's called Venice F32. All the synthesizers end up in the patches here that we control to send each one of them to a certain channel, and then we can record it in the in Ableton. Yeah, this is the mixer, and yeah, we have here some effects. The boys use it much more than me. I'm rather recording the stuff, and then I have the full control in my in Ableton over how I treat them with effects. The boys rather like to use it here. That's okay. Here is the Pro 1. Insane bass. It just goes deep as hell. The Juno one, really good for old school house sounds, I would say. And then there you have the GB303 and TR606 from Sierra Sam. He's a freak. Most of the analog stuff is actually from Sammy. Thanks for letting me play around with them. So this is the studio that we work in, and yeah, by the way, all these panels in the background are and also at the top are the acoustic panels that we paid a lot for. When we started here in the studio, we had 7 seconds of reverb in the bass frequency, which is insane. So you have one kick and it takes 7 seconds until it stops. So we had to put these panels up here. And yeah, this is very important, by the way, if you want to have a good sound. Yeah, and now that I showed you all this synths and mixer and stuff, I'm gonna show you how I made the Anakeys EP for Selador. This is how I made my track Anakeys. It's being released now on Selador recordings with fantastic remixes by Martin Eira and Just Her. Really good. And yeah, so it started actually with a piano that I had. I was messing around and I started with this piano. Very simple, it just opens up as later. So there's a filter on it. The device that I used is from Arturia. And yeah, this was the idea. Then I started to program the drums, like the kick came in, and yeah, it's a recorded kick from the Miami. Yeah, it has already a very good punch. You just need to do a bit of processing here. I like to use kickstart here, as you can see, to really cut the decay of the kick, so it doesn't go too boomy at the end. And I mix it a bit, and yeah, then slowly build up the rest of the groove with some sub bass that's coming from the rubber bass for Collision from Ableton. Not really something special, it's just something that's giving a nice bass for the track. Yeah, and then some claps that I as you can see, the claps are coming. There are quite a few of them, like 3 together. I'm sure I panned them here and there. So yeah. Then there's this reactor sounds that I really like. It's coming out of the Monarch. Monarch is one of my favorite synthesizers VSTs out there, because it can't really sound like analog synthesizers. I really like it. Really amazing. yeah, and then to be honest, at one point I remembered how I really loved the Reg from ARM, and wanted to get that vibe without copying it, to be honest, and started to use this sound to program this sound. I use a lot of plugins from the Arturia collection, and this is one of them, the Matrix 12. So yeah, as you can see, there's just an equalizer that's opening up with the time, and I really like the sound. It just moves it up. Some additional hats and percussion. Here, as you can see, an open hi-hat. And now we're going slowly to the part where the analog keys comes to the game. And I programmed a very simple sequence in it, and I recorded it live. It had the groove running. And then this is what happened. I love this sound, it's amazing. And you can see it's recorded here a very, very long time. And I do that a lot, so that I record a long take and then take the best parts that I like. Listen to this beautiful sound. It's coming out of here. And here it opens later then. So very powerful what you can do with a bit of speaking around. The Analog Keys is a machine that if you understand, and it takes a while to understand it, but then you have a really, really powerful instrument at your hand, and it's really fun to make music suddenly. You know, it's not like using again the mouse to hover around. You just play around with your hands and create this amazing sequences. Now, the one really interesting part of this track is that my friend Ulf Kleiner came to visit me, actually, in Berlin, and I was working on this track, and it was like this. I'm gonna mute the part that Ulf played, and you judge yourself. It was working okay, but not as magical. Is there. I'm sure it's gonna work in the club. No one will go away. And probably I would have left it like that. But then Ulf turns around and says, "Give me a synth." And I was like, "What do you mean give me a synth?" He's like, "Give me a synth and record audio and medium." I was like, okay. So I gave him a sound on the OB6 and I asked him, "Do you like it?" Yeah, a layer. Give me a layer. And when I tell you, you open up the filter. Okay. And really, like around in 2 minutes, he recorded this. Crazy. It's amazing. What a difference. It just lifts up the whole track. And he was kind of connected to some kind of source in that moment and came didn't want me to talk too much. And he just told me, just when I'm telling you, open up the filter a bit, like here. Pure magic, really. And then we have the sequence again from Analog Keys. And this time I added the shaper box. Open filter on the OV6. Shaper box, it adds like this shimmer thing to it. But the real magic is really what Wolf is doing. Absolutely majestic. I can't even find words for it. This was the Beatport studio session with me, Namito. Please feel free to send me any comments and questions. I will try to answer them all. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.